You've been told your whole life that you're bad with money. Or maybe nobody told you. Maybe you just feel it. That low hum of guilt every time you check your bank account. That quiet panic on the 28th of every month. That thing you do where you avoid opening the credit card statement because if you don't see the number, it's not real yet. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you've probably assumed the people who don't feel that way, the ones who seem calm about money, who quietly build wealth without talking about it, you've assumed they know something you don't, read the right book, had the right parents. But what if that's not what happened at all? Economists at the University of Chicago Booth School found that the best predictors of long-term wealth aren't income level or financial knowledge, they're specific behavioral patterns in how people process decisions about money, not what they know, how their brain is wired. The financial industry spends billions convincing you that the problem is knowledge, that you just need the right app, the right course, the right tip. But the data says the opposite. The gap between the wealthy and the struggling is rarely information, it's behavioral architecture. Your spending patterns are shaped before you ever open your wallet. True money management isn't about discipline or willpower. It's about how your brain handles delayed gratification, manages emotional responses to spending, and automates decisions so you don't have to fight yourself every single day. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand something about yourself that no financial advisor has ever explained. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here are 10 habits of people with extremely high money management skills, and at least 3 of these are going to describe you with uncomfortable accuracy. 1. They barely think about money. Sounds like a contradiction, and that's why most people miss it. People with exceptional money management skills spend very little mental energy thinking about money, not because they're careless, because they've already decided. Think about your day. You buy coffee, you grab lunch, you tap your card at the vending machine, you add something to your cart while scrolling at night. None of these feel like financial decisions, but every single one is, and your brain is making them on fumes. Research from Cornell University found that people who automate savings and bill payments accumulate more wealth and experience less financial stress than those who manually manage everything. They removed the negotiation. The prefrontal cortex has a limited daily capacity. Every micro decision depletes it. People with high money skills don't rely on willpower. They build systems that make the right choice the default. Then they stop thinking about it. The person who seems effortlessly good with money isn't trying harder than you. They've arranged their life so they don't have to try at all. This is why subscription models are so profitable. They exploit this principle in reverse, automating spending instead of saving. That $14.99 per month you forgot about, designed to slip beneath your decision threshold. The best money managers don't just automate what goes in, they audit what's being automated out. When's the last time you checked yours? 2. They experience physical discomfort with debt. Have you ever owed someone money and felt it in your chest? Not the number, the owing, that heaviness that won't leave until it's resolved. Many people with exceptional money skills describe debt as a physical sensation. It feels like weight. I physically can't relax when I owe money. And this isn't metaphor. Functional MRI scans show that for some people, debt activates the same neural regions as physical pain and threat detection. Stanford neuroscientists found these individuals often grew up in high contingency environments, where owing something meant real survival-level danger. You might be carrying $8,000 on a credit card, and somehow it only bothers you when you accidentally see the statement. Different brain, different signal, but only one is profitable for the credit card company. The modern credit system is built to numb this response. Minimum payments, buy now, pay later, 0% intro rates, all engineered to keep debt below the pain threshold. Your brain registers purchase as pleasure, repayment as abstraction. That's not accident, it's architecture. 3. They think in percentages, not dollars. This one is going to change how you look at every price tag for the rest of the week. You're in a store. A jacket, $120. Most brains process that as a feeling. Do I like this enough? Can I afford this? But some brains involuntarily convert it. That's 6% of my monthly take-home, about 7 hours of my life after taxes, the same as 3 months of that streaming service I was thinking of canceling. They can't stop the calculation. It happens like a reflex, and the moment it happens, the emotional pull breaks. The brain reframed a feeling into a trade-off. Research in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who frame spending in terms of labor hours or income percentages make significantly more rational financial decisions. I want this gets interrupted by, is this worth 2 days of my life? And once you've asked that question, you can't unask it. Marketing is designed to destroy this calculation. $3 a day instead of $1,095 a year. 4 easy payments of $49.99 instead of $200. Retailers break prices into units too small for your brain to convert into time. The people who think in ratios see through this instantly. Ask yourself, when you see a price, do you feel it or calculate it? That answer explains more about your financial future than your salary does. 4. They feel genuine pleasure from watching numbers grow. Let me describe 2 moments. Tell me which one you recognize. Moment 1. You add something to your cart, your heart rate picks up. You click purchase. For about 90 seconds, you feel a rush. By the time the package arrives, the excitement is half dead. Within a week, you've stopped noticing it exists. Moment 2. You open your banking app on a Sunday morning, not because you need to, because you want to. The number is a little bigger than last time. You feel something quieter, deeper, like watching a wall get built around your future, one brick at a time. Most people live in moment 1. People with exceptional money skills live in moment 2. They didn't choose this. Their brain chemistry just works differently. A 2018 University of Pennsylvania study found that some individuals show heightened reward center activation when account balances grow, even by small amounts. Their dopamine system rewards accumulation instead of acquisition. And here's what matters. That pleasure is sustainable. The rush from buying fades before you finish unboxing. The satisfaction from compound growth deepens every month. One is a spike, the other is a slope. The slope always wins. Which moment did you recognize? 5. They obsess over small purchases, not large ones. Picture this. Someone is standing in a grocery aisle holding 2 bottles of olive oil, $8.99 versus $11.49. They're comparing per ounce cost. They've been there 4 minutes. It's olive oil. That same person moved $10,000 into an index fund last month in 90 seconds. No hesitation. It seems insane, but their brain recognizes pattern versus anomaly. That olive oil gets bought every month. Optimizing once saves money every time. The investment was a one-time execution of a decision made months ago. MIT research found that people who optimize recurring small expenses build significantly more wealth than those who only focus on big purchases. The small decisions happen hundreds of times per year. This is the opposite of how financial media trains you to think. Headlines scream about stock picks and real estate, but daily micro decisions determine 80% of your financial outcome. The $7 daily lunch habit costs more over a decade than most bad investments. They sweat the small stuff because the small stuff is the big stuff. 6. They feel uncomfortable with lifestyle inflation. Think about the last time you got a raise. What happened next? If you're honest, your probably spending rose to meet it. A nicer apartment, eating out more, upgrading the car earlier than planned. Nothing dramatic, just drift. People with exceptional money skills feel uncomfortable when this happens. Not guilty, more like uneasy, like something is slipping that shouldn't be. Research from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that individuals who maintain significant income to spending gaps accumulate wealth at rates far exceeding their peers. But it's not pleasant. their brain anchored to a spending baseline years ago. Increasing it feels wrong, like wearing shoes that don't fit. Am I being smart, or am I just afraid to enjoy this? Lifestyle inflation isn't natural, it's socially manufactured. Algorithms track your income signals through job change posts and purchase history, then feed you aspirational content calibrated one tier above your current spending. Your feed becomes a silent budget inflator. Are you immune, or are you scrolling through someone else's lifestyle and calling it motivation? 7. They treat future self as a real person. Close your eyes. Picture yourself at 65, retired, living on whatever you've saved between now and then. What did you see? If you're like most people, that image was blurry, abstract, almost fictional. But people with high money skills, that person is vivid. They can almost hear their future self's voice, and that future person has a vote in every financial decision they make today. Stanford's Virtual Human Interaction Lab found that when people interact with aged avatars of themselves, saving behavior changes dramatically. Some people naturally have this connection without technology. Does 65-year-old me wish I had this jacket, or wish I'd invested this $120 instead? They genuinely care what that future person thinks, because to them, that person is already waiting. The consumer economy depends on the opposite, keeping your future self abstract. Credit card statements show minimum payments, not total cost over 20 years. Retirement calculators are buried in menus. One-click purchase buttons are front and center. Every storefront is designed to collapse your time horizon to this moment, this transaction, and most people don't even know there's a current. 8. They experience buyer's remorse before buying. Most people feel regret after a purchase. People with exceptional money skills feel it before. They're hovering over the checkout button, and the regret is already there. Their brain is running a simulation at full speed, seeing themselves getting home, looking at the thing, and feeling foolish. I'm going to buy this, and in 3 days I'm going to wonder why. I already know how this ends. Psychologists call this affective forecasting. Princeton research found that individuals with strong affective forecasting make fewer impulsive purchases and report higher long-term financial satisfaction. They already know how the story ends, so they don't start it. Modern e-commerce is designed to close this window. One-click purchasing, countdown timers, and only 2 left in stock, every element compresses the gap between impulse and transaction to 0. The checkout experience is a race against your capacity for regret. Think about that next time you see a countdown timer on a deal. It's not counting down to a deadline. It's counting down against your ability to think clearly. 9. They mentally rehearse financial catastrophe. Some people lie in bed at night and their brain starts running disaster scenarios involuntarily. What if I lose my job next month? What if there's a medical emergency and insurance doesn't cover it? How long could I survive on what I have right now? They don't want to think about this. It just happens. And they've walked through these scenarios so many times, they've already made plans for each one. Psychologists call this defensive pessimism. Wellesley College research found that defensive pessimists perform better in uncertain situations because they've processed the anxiety in advance. They're pre-grieved. They build emergency funds and diversify income streams because they can vividly imagine what happens if they don't. And here's the uncomfortable question. Can you? Most financial products are sold during optimism and needed during catastrophe. Emergency funds feel like dead money during a bull market. The system profits from your inability to imagine the worst case, because when it arrives, that's when the most expensive borrowing happens. People who rehearse disaster are the least profitable customers for emergency lending. That tells you everything. 10. They feel guilty about spending on themselves. And here's the one that reveals the hidden cost of all this. Imagine you've done everything right, saved for years, hit every goal, investments growing, and then your laptop dies. You can afford a new one 3 times over, and you still sit there for 45 minutes toggling between the one you want and the cheaper one. Not because you can't afford it, because something in your chest won't let you click.
Do I really need the upgraded version? The cheaper one is fine. Nicer isn't a reason, is it? That's not financial success, that's financial guilt. A 2020 study in the Journal of Economic Psychology found that individuals with high savings rates experience more guilt around discretionary spending than those who save less, even when objectively secure. Their brain associates spending with loss so deeply it doesn't have an off switch. And here's what nobody tells you about being good with money. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes it feels like you built a prison out of your own discipline, and you're the only one with the key, but you're afraid to use it. How many of those did you recognize? When we look at these 10 patterns, they don't all look like advantages. Some look like anxiety, some look like overthinking, some look like an inability to enjoy the present moment. And you'd be right. These aren't people who've mastered financial techniques. These are people whose brains process risk, reward, time, and security differently, sometimes from childhood, sometimes neurological, sometimes a coping mechanism from financial hardship that ended years ago but never fully left. The strongest predictor of long-term financial success isn't intelligence or initial wealth, it's delayed discounting, the ability to value future rewards nearly as much as immediate ones. Most brains massively discount the future, but people with exceptional money skills have flatter curves. Future money feels almost as real as present money, and that changes everything. The systems around you know this. Casinos, credit cards, fintech apps, grocery store layouts, all engineered around your discount rate. The higher your brain discounts the future, the more profitable you are to every industry that sells now and collects later. Your discount curve isn't just a trait, it's a revenue model. Understanding yours is the single most important financial insight you'll ever have. Your entire financial life might be shaped not by knowledge or discipline, but by how much your brain discounts future value. Liberating because you're not broken, uncomfortable because it suggests success might be less about choice than we like to believe. Maybe you're sitting here running the math on yourself, thinking about subscriptions you haven't checked, the raise you can't explain where it went, how next month has been next month for 11 months. Or maybe you're on the other side, haven't bought yourself anything impractical in 2 years, feel anxiety when your partner orders the expensive entree. Emergency fund has 6 months in it and you still can't sleep. Both people are watching right now. The behaviors can be learned and automated. Automatic transfers, artificial friction on spending, gamification of saving. Same outcomes, different wiring. Don't fight your wiring, design around it. The most powerful financial skill isn't budgeting or investing, it's system design. Building an environment where your default behavior leads to the outcome you want, even when your willpower is depleted, even when the algorithms are targeting your impulses. The system always beats the individual. Stop trying to be more disciplined, start building better defaults. Neither approach is objectively better, and this is the part most videos won't tell you. The person who lives in the present, spends what they earn, doesn't worry about retirement, not wrong. Probably having more fun, probably less anxious, probably more connected. The person who saves aggressively, can't enjoy spending, watches investment accounts like other people watch sports, not better, just different, trading present pleasure for future security. That's a trade-off, not a virtue. Both are valid, and our society has been lying to you about which one is right. If you recognized yourself in these habits, you're not superior. You're wired a way that produces outcomes society rewards, but you might be missing present joy, carrying guilt, or drowning in unnecessary anxiety. If you didn't recognize yourself, if money management feels impossible, you're not broken. Your brain processes time differently. Build systems to compensate, or decide your values lie somewhere else. You're not broken, you're just working with different wiring. The sooner you understand that wiring, the sooner you stop fighting yourself. That might be the most valuable financial skill there is. Not discipline, not knowledge, just honest awareness of who you actually are when no one's watching your bank account. If that hit you somewhere, tell me which habit you recognized first. And if you want more of the kind of content that explains your behavior, not just your balance, subscribe. We're just getting started.